Let me ask you something that might shake you awake this morning. What is the difference between the person who achieves extraordinary success and the one who lives an ordinary life? Is it talent? Is it luck? Is it the circumstances? I've spent decades studying this question, and I can tell you with absolute certainty, it's none of those things. The difference, my friend, is so simple that most people walk right past it their entire lives. It's so obvious that it hides in plain sight. And yet, when you truly understand it and apply it, it has the power to transform everything. Your career, your finances, your relationships, the very quality of your existence. I remember sitting in a restaurant years ago, watching two waiters work the same shift. One moved through his day with a heaviness, as if the tray in his hands weighed 1,000 pounds. The other carried himself differently, with purpose, with dignity, as if he were serving royalty. Same job, same hours, same pay. But one was ordinary, and the other was already extraordinary, even in that moment. You see, being extraordinary isn't about what you do. It's about who you decide to be while you're doing it. Today, I want to share with you the wisdom that has guided me, the principles that separate those who merely exist from those who truly live. And I want to show you how these timeless truths apply to your life right now, in this modern world of distractions, digital noise, and endless opportunities. Because the secret I discovered long ago works just as powerfully today as it did 50 years ago. Let me take you back to a moment that changed my life forever. I was a young man in the Marine Corps during World War II, stationed on the USS Arizona's sister ship. I survived because of a simple twist of fate. I was transferred just before Pearl Harbor. That experience taught me something profound: life is precious, and time is the one commodity we can never get back. After the war, I returned home like millions of other young men, trying to figure out what to do with my life. I worked in radio, bouncing from station to station, making barely enough to survive. I was ordinary in every sense of the word, but I was also curious. I started asking myself, why do some people succeed while others fail? Why do some people accumulate wealth while others struggle their entire lives? Why do some people wake up excited about their day while others drag themselves through it? I spent years researching this question. I read everything I could find. I studied successful people, industrialists, artists, inventors, entrepreneurs. I talked to millionaires and janitors, executives and farmers. And gradually, a pattern emerged. A truth so simple it was almost disappointing at first. The people who achieved extraordinary results all had one thing in common: they had a goal. Not just a wish, not just a dream, but a specific, clearly defined goal that they moved toward every single day. They knew exactly what they wanted, and they paid the price to get it. I remember interviewing a man who had built a successful manufacturing company from nothing. He started in a garage with $50 and an idea. 20 years later, he employed hundreds of people and had built a fortune. I asked him what made the difference. He said, "Earl, when I started, I could see my factory in my mind. I could see the workers arriving in the morning. I could hear the machines running. I could see the trucks leaving with our products. I saw it so clearly that all I had to do was show up every day and build what I had already seen." That's when I understood. Extraordinary people live in their goal. They don't hope for it or wish for it. They live as if it's already real, and they simply move toward making the invisible visible. But here's the other side of that coin. I also knew a man, brilliant, talented, educated, who worked in the same office for 30 years and never advanced. He complained constantly about his boss, his salary, his lack of opportunities. One day I asked him, "What do you want?" He looked at me like I'd asked him to solve a complex mathematical equation. "I don't know," he said. "I just want things to be better." You see, better isn't a goal. Someday isn't a plan. The ordinary person drifts through life hoping things will improve, while the extraordinary person decides exactly what improvement looks like and goes after it with everything they have. I'll never forget the day I wrote down my own goal. I was sitting at my kitchen table, frustrated with my circumstances, tired of living paycheck to paycheck. I took out a piece of paper and wrote, "I will become a recognized authority on human potential and success, and I will help millions of people achieve their goals." At that moment, I had no idea how I would do it. I had no connections, no platform, no resources, but I had clarity, and clarity, my friend, is power. Within 5 years of writing that goal, I had created the strangest secret. a recording that went on to sell over 1 million copies. Not because I was special, but because I had become specific. I had moved from ordinary thinking to extraordinary thinking, and that made all the difference. Now, let me share with you the core principles that transform ordinary lives into extraordinary ones. These aren't theories or philosophical abstractions. These are practical, proven laws that work as predictably as the law of gravity. First, understand this fundamental truth. We become what we think about most of the time. Your mind is like fertile soil. It will return to you whatever you plant in it. If you plant seeds of doubt, fear, and limitation, that's exactly what will grow. If you plant seeds of possibility, purpose, and clear goals, your life will reflect that instead. The human mind doesn't distinguish between constructive and destructive thought. It simply works on whatever you give it. Most people, unfortunately, spend their days thinking about what they don't want, what they fear, what might go wrong. And then they wonder why their lives reflect those very things. You must take control of your thinking. You must become the watchman at the gate of your mind. Here's something I want you to write down. Success is the progressive realization of a worthy goal. Read that again. Success isn't a destination. It's not a bank account number or a title or a house. Success is the journey towards something that matters to you. The school teacher working toward her degree is successful. The young entrepreneur building her first business is successful. The person who decides to become healthier and loses the first 5 pounds is successful, because they're moving towards something they've decided is important. This means you can be successful starting today, right now, simply by deciding on a worthy goal and taking the first step toward it. You don't have to wait for permission. You don't have to wait for the perfect circumstances. You become successful the moment you begin the journey. Second principle, you must pay the price. Everything has a price, success has a price, and failure has a price. The price of success is discipline, effort, persistence, learning, and time. The price of failure is regret, disappointment, and unfulfilled potential. Here's the interesting thing: the price of success is paid up front, while the price of failure is paid later, usually with interest. Extraordinary people understand this. They're willing to do today what others won't do, so they can have tomorrow what others won't have. They're willing to study when others are watching television. They're willing to practice when others are sleeping. They're willing to invest when others are spending. They understand that there are no shortcuts, but there are smart paths. Third, your rewards in life will always be in exact proportion to your service, your contribution to others. This is a law as immutable as any law of physics. If you want to increase your rewards, whether that's income, recognition, or opportunity, you must increase your service. You must become more valuable to the marketplace. I've never met a successful person who was focused primarily on what they could get. Every successful person I've studied was focused on what they could give, what they could contribute, how they could serve. The money, the recognition, the rewards, these are byproducts of valuable service. Think about it this way. If you help one person solve a problem, you'll receive a small reward. If you help 1,000 people, you'll receive a larger reward. If you help 1,000,000 people, you'll receive a tremendous reward. The marketplace pays for value delivered, not for time spent. Fourth principle, and this is crucial: you must act. Ideas are worthless without action. The world is full of ordinary people with extraordinary ideas who never did anything with them. Knowledge is only potential power. It becomes real power when you apply it. I can teach you every principle of success, every strategy for achievement, every secret of wealth creation, but if you don't act on it, nothing changes. The difference between ordinary and extraordinary is execution. It's the willingness to start before you feel ready, to move forward despite uncertainty, to take the next step even when you can't see the entire staircase. Here's a truth that might surprise you. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. Every extraordinary achievement began with an ordinary person taking an ordinary first step. The key is that they took it. And finally, understand this: your attitude determines your altitude. Two people can have the same circumstances, the same opportunities, the same resources, and end up in completely different places. The difference is attitude. Your attitude is the mental filter through which you experience life. A positive, growth-oriented attitude sees problems as opportunities. A negative, fixed attitude sees opportunities as problems. You have complete control over your attitude. It's the one thing in life that is entirely yours to choose. No one can force an attitude upon you. Circumstances can't dictate your attitude unless you allow them to. Your attitude is your response to life, and that response shapes everything that follows. Now let me show you how to apply these principles to your life today in this fast-paced, digital, sometimes overwhelming modern world. Let's start with your career. Right now, wherever you are in your professional journey, you can begin the transformation from ordinary to extraordinary. First, get clear on your goal. Not, I want to be successful, or I want to make more money. Those are too vague. Instead, write down specifically what you want to achieve in the next year, 3 years, 5 years. Do you want to become a manager? Start your own business. Master a new skill. Change industries. Double your income. Write it down in specific terms. I know a young software developer who was stuck in an ordinary job, doing ordinary work, making an ordinary salary. He decided to become extraordinary. He set a goal within 2 years. He would become a recognized expert in artificial intelligence and machine learning. He started learning every evening after work. He wrote articles sharing what he learned. He built small projects and shared them online. He attended conferences and connected with others in the field. Within 18 months, he had tripled his salary and was being recruited by top companies. Same person, same brain, different goal, different actions. Here's what you can do today. Identify one skill that would make you significantly more valuable in your field. Then commit to spending 1 hour every day developing that skill. That's just 4% of your day. In 1 year, that's 365 hours of deliberate practice. That alone could transform your career. But most people won't do it because it requires them to give up an hour of television, social media scrolling, or other ordinary activities. Now let's talk about your finances. The path from ordinary to extraordinary financial health follows the same principles. You must have a specific goal. You must pay the price. You must take action. Start by getting clear on your financial goal. Do you want to be debt-free? Build an emergency fund. Invest for retirement. Buy a home. Write down the specific number and the specific date. Then apply the law of service. Ask yourself, how can I provide more value? How can I serve more people? How can I solve bigger problems? Your income is a reflection of the value you bring to the marketplace. If you want to increase your income, increase your value. Take courses. Learn new skills. Take on more responsibility. Look for opportunities to contribute beyond your job description. I know this works because I've seen it work thousands of times. A woman I knew worked as an administrative assistant. She was good at her job, but she wanted more. She started learning about digital marketing in her spare time. She began helping her company improve their social media presence, even though it wasn't her job. Within a year, they created a new position for her as marketing coordinator with a significant raise. 2 years later, she was the marketing director. She didn't wait for permission. She didn't wait for the perfect circumstances. She decided to become more valuable, and the rewards followed. Regarding personal growth and mindset, here's what I want you to understand. In this modern world, you have access to more information than any generation in human history. You can learn anything, connect with anyone, and access resources that were unimaginable 50 years ago. But information isn't transformation. Access isn't achievement. The extraordinary person in the modern world isn't the one who has the most information. It's the one who applies the best information consistently. Start each day by feeding your mind with positive, constructive educational material. Spend the first 30 minutes of your day reading something that expands your thinking, listening to something that inspires your action, or planning something that moves you toward your goal. Most people spend their mornings scrolling through news and social media, filling their minds with negativity, comparison, and distraction before they even start their day. Then they wonder why they feel anxious, unmotivated, and ordinary. Your morning routine sets the tone for your entire day. Make it extraordinary. Here's a practical exercise for the next 30 days. Protect your mind. Be intentional about what you allow into your consciousness. Turn off the news. Unfollow accounts that make you feel bad about yourself. Stop spending time with people who drain your energy and criticize your dreams. Instead, read books that challenge you to grow. Listen to podcasts that teach you valuable skills. Surround yourself with people who are building something, creating something, moving towards something. In your relationships, apply these same principles. Be the person who brings value to every interaction. Listen more than you speak. Serve rather than take. Give without expecting anything in return. The extraordinary person in any relationship, whether business, friendship, or family, is the one who contributes more than they consume. As we come to the end of our time together today, I want to leave you with this thought. The transformation from ordinary to extraordinary doesn't require a miracle. It doesn't require special talents you weren't born with. It doesn't require perfect circumstances or lucky breaks. It requires a decision. A decision to get clear on what you want. A decision to think about your goals instead of your fears. A decision to take action instead of waiting. A decision to serve others instead of serving only yourself. A decision to persist when things get difficult. A decision to control your attitude regardless of your circumstances. Right now, at this very moment, you have everything you need to begin. You don't need more time, you need a decision. You don't need more information, you need application. You don't need better circumstances, you need better choices. I've seen people transform their lives at 20 and at 70. I've seen people rise from poverty to prosperity, from obscurity to significance, from depression to joy. Not because they were special, but because they understood and applied these simple principles. Here's what I want you to do. Right now, before you go back to the demands of your day, take out a piece of paper or open a note on your phone. Write down one goal, one specific, meaningful goal that would make your life significantly better if you achieved it. Write down what you're willing to give up to achieve it. Write down the first action step you can take today. Then take that action. Don't wait. Don't overthink it. Don't let the ordinary voices of doubt and fear talk you out of it. Take the first step from ordinary to extraordinary right now. Remember this? The only thing standing between you and everything you want is a decision and the courage to act on it. You are not ordinary unless you choose to be. You have within you, right now, everything you need to become extraordinary. The question is not whether you can, it's whether you will. I believe you will, because you're here, listening, learning, seeking to grow. That alone sets you apart. Now go and prove to yourself what you're truly capable of. Start today. Start now. Your extraordinary life is waiting for you to claim it. Thank you for spending this time with me. Now go make it count.